I was
The
only
thing is, last
referencing
year we were
what
gassing
you
out.
said, Gal, about stats. You defended Saka and Odegaard by saying about stats. About people are saying that Odegaard had a bad season, but look at the
Can
stats.
I share something, Dan?
And when I spoke about the
go
stats,
for it.
we still ain't replaced the 7 goals and 7 assists from Granit Xhaka.
So
we
what's
don't have
this
someone
then?
that can even do that.
So what's this then? If we haven't replaced goals and we're all of a sudden this terrible side in goal scoring, why do we have one more goal than we did last year at this point? Why do we have one less goal conceded than we did last year? My point is, guys, guess what? Your eyes can deceive you at times, because statistically we are playing just as good as we were last year based on the numbers, but your performance is based on your emotions, on how you feel at the time, because we drop points against teams that we weren't necessarily supposed to drop points against, but we beat teams like Liverpool and City. It looks worse, but in actual reality, we're there and thereabouts. Let's not go and say everything is terrible. Let's not go and say this team is shit.
No one
the
said that.
reality
You're
of the
referencing
situation
a
is
season
this
that we
team
didn't
has
even get over the
improved.
line. But you're referencing a season that we didn't even get over the line. Last season we lost to Brighton.
No,
Forest,
I'm referencing the season that
and Man
everyone keeps
United.
screaming
This
about.
season we still drop points against Aston
But
Villa.
Northside,
West
you
Ham,
can't do
and
that
teams
now.
like that.
You can't do that. Out of all people, you can't do that. You're the
What are
one
you
person who always references last season.
No, I
Every
don't.
single
I
show I've
reference
been on,
last season.
you
No, I
reference
don't. No, I
last
don't.
season.
No, I
Come
don't.
on,
No, I
bro.
don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
You
I
reference it in the
last
point
season.
of
No, I don't.
improvement. You haven't
Your
seen an
reference of
improvement
last
from last
season
season.
is if no, your reference of last season is as if we got over the line. I referenced last season in things that have regressed when I wanted progression from last season. And when I'm talking about goal scoring, I mainly talk about a lack of striker, the bench, where people said we went wrong last season. Yes, defensively, you can say we're a bit better, but at the same time, we are better defensively, but we still got holes. We still don't have another centre back. We still don't have another
We had
striker.
those holes last year.
The things that we was light on last season, we have not addressed. Another centre back, a striker, a right winger to rotate with Saka, another number 10, a deep line a playmaker, somebody that can play the 6 like Granit Xhaka, but is better. We don't have someone that could do Xhaka's role better than Granit Xhaka last season. Granit Xhaka last season got 7 goals, 7 assists.
But we have a better player in Declan Rice.
And we have Havertz that maybe to you, Havertz is good enough for you because sometimes he puts up stats. But when he doesn't turn up, I think he was the worst player out of everybody against West Ham. I think we was carrying him. And anything he brought to the team of passing the ball, you can get anybody else doing that.
You want to know something?
I don't think he's that effective. I feel like we have not addressed our weaknesses from last season. That is the problem. We're now banking on Trossard continuing to score goals. Why? Because we didn't get a striker. We need Odegaard to keep turning up. Why? Because we don't have somebody better than Odegaard to play in that position.
You want to know something? You want to know something? You know something? You're on the back foot. You're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to go around Europe to find a better fit for this team at this moment in time. And how on top of that, when you spoke about defenders, we signed Timber. Unfortunately, we didn't know he was going to get a knee injury. We signed 2 midfielders in Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. And Declan Rice is a massive upgrade on Xhaka. You guys all did not rate Xhaka. Everyone on this panel rates Declan Rice as one of the best midfielders in the league. We can all admit that Thomas Partey has injury issues and he's been gone for the whole season. Last year, we had a fit Thomas Partey for 33 games. So if you want to say that is a miss from last season, fair. But when you say Xhaka, guess what? Xhaka has been replaced and his output is currently being replaced by Declan Rice.
So why didn't he play in that position?
Okay, no, sir. Let's just come in.
Let me say my final point. My final point. You wanted to talk about, we don't have a winger. We don't have this. Guess what? In our biggest game of the season, when we needed somebody else to step up for Bukayo Saka, who was out, what did we start doing? We started playing Jesus as a winger. We lack goals, right? But this team still has the same amount of goals as last season. And City, who have a striker, who have Erling Haaland, only have two or three more goals than us. Mo Salah has on Liverpool. They only have 2 more goals than us. Guess what? You don't win a league by one individual scoring you 20 goals. You win a league as a collective. Defending and scoring goals as a collective will benefit us more than one individual stepping up and scoring 20 goals every year.
Go on, Jez.
Yeah, it's all great sitting here. Like, there's one statistical difference from this point in time last season. Right? Did we win the league last year?
That's not my point. I'm comparing it to the regression that you guys were speaking about.
I'm asking you a question.
No, we didn't. But that's not my point.
This year?
What?
Are we going to win it this year?
We still can.
We can, but are we going to? Because you like to.
I can't predict the future, my friend. That's the reality.
Well, the fact remains, statistically, as you like your statistics, mathematics, right? Man City have a game in hand, right?
Yep.
If we win every game, right? If we win every
We win the
game,
league.
no, we don't.
Yeah, because we play Man City.
If they beat, no, the point remains is, let's say we get a draw at Man City.
No, but you've changed the argument now. You see?
No, I haven't changed the argument.
Yeah, you did. Because you said we win every game.
Okay,
Yes, come on, bro. You changed the argument on me. Mid-argument.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. Fair play. Let's say we draw at Man City. Big ask, innit? It's big ask. Because when was the last time we won at Man City? But I'm positive with you. I'm positive, right? I am being positive. But the fact remains, yeah, statistically, you like your facts and figures, they win.
Okay. Are they not going to drop points anywhere else? Are we just going to expect City to win every game from now until the end of the season?
I am expecting them probably to, they always normally kick on at this time of the year. They've got an easier run in than we've got.
Do they really, when they still have to play Liverpool and we don't? They still have to play us and we don't? They still have to play us? Yes. When it comes to the runs, we all have difficult runs. Guess what? It's about game management. It's about your manager managing to the best of their ability. And you guys, and I can't convince people who don't rate the manager that we're going to get over the line. Because really and truly, at the back of your minds, the manager and this team have to prove more to you, and you don't have as much belief as I do. So no matter what, if you guys want to call it delusion, you want to call it hope, whatever you want to call it.
I look at realism because
no, but the realism would have told you would have wanted the manager sacked a year ago.
Up for 1 minute, will you? Let me speak. Right, we've got Burnley away, Newcastle home, Sheffield United away, Brentford home, Chelsea home, right, Man City away. If we cock up in any one of those 5 games, Burnley, Newcastle, Sheffield, Brentford, we're in the crack.
But we dropped points 2 games. We went winless in 7 games, and we're still only 5 points off top. Now we're 2 points off top off the back of that. Why is it everything spun in a negative?
I'm not negative. I'm just putting facts. I'm putting facts. I'm putting realism. You live in a different world to me because you're on cloud 9. I'm not. I've been there. I've seen Arsenal for way, way, way long time. I'm just putting it out there to you. I'm giving you the fact and the platform, right? Burnley away is never an easy game.
It should be for us.
Mate, I'm telling you fucking hits. Excuse me for swearing. Sorry. I'm giving you facts of history, man. Look at what
is it an easy game for Man City?
We're not Man City. We're Arsenal.
We are now.
We're Arsenal, man.
Expect those standards, bro. When we go to Burnley away, we need to come back with a win minimum. None of this, it's a hard game. We're coming back with a win minimum. We go to West Ham away, we slap them 6-0. We go away to from any lower half team. You guys talk about standards. I expect a win away from home against every team in the league except for City from now until the end of the season. Even the North London Derby, I expect a win. We did it last year. I expect it again. And if we don't win, no excuses. You're not going to see me sitting here saying excuses. I'm going to criticize. This whole thing where I'm living on cloud 9, no, I'm actually showing more standards than you guys right now because I'm expecting this team to get over the line.
I agree. I am with you. Look,
I
want Arsenal to win. I want my team to win. Yeah, I haven't seen my team win for 20 billion years. Right? Fact remains is I'm just asking you a basic question. The facts are there. I get it. I agree with you. Yeah, from last season, this season, great, fantastic. But the point I'm trying to say to you is, we cannot guarantee this is going to be our bloody season.
Nobody can.
That's what I'm saying.
Man City can't even guarantee it.
But
if we win all our games and Man City win all their games, I think Jez is right the first time because Man City have got a game in hand on us, right? So that means if they win their game, so that means it will go down to goal difference then.
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult because they score a ridiculous amount of goals.
Now, let me have it right. I don't think Arsenal win all their games, and I don't think Man City will win all their games, right? Personally, I really don't. Well, that's obvious because we play each other, but you get what I mean? Even after that game we play each other, I still think both teams may drop points. But I honestly believe that Arsenal need to be pretty much flawless. Like, we can't be going to Burnley away and dropping points. We can't be going to Newcastle and Brentford at home, like last season, drawing 0-0 and drawing 1-1. That cannot happen because we will not win the league if we draw to Newcastle and Brentford. But my question is to the panel, and Brandon, I'll bring you in, and then Northside. I've got a question here which I think would be a good one to end on, which people are begging me to ask. Super chat's coming here. What are the latest odds? Arsenal double, Premier League and UCL. I have no idea. But,
less than 2%.
I wouldn't put your money on them doing the double there, but you put your money on what you want, mate. But this is a question. This is a good question, which will spark a last sort of 10-minute debate. Dan, answer this question, says Miles. What should happen if we don't win a trophy this season? Now, obviously, he's talking about the manager, and he's talking about Mikel. I believe he is anyway. What should happen if we don't win? I'll put it to Brandon first, and then we'll go around to close. If we do not win a trophy, that's very negative to look at it like that, but some would say it's realistic. I think there are a lot of people that believe Arsenal are going to finish trophyless this season. I don't think anybody has us down to win the Premier League or the Champions League away from this panel. We can debate it now. But what does happen if nothing happens for Arsenal trophy-wise this season, Brandon, for you?
I think context has to be taken into it. As always, you have to look at context. If Arsenal take the Premier League to the last game of the season, for example, and we don't win it based off goal difference, and we make the final of the Champions League, but we end up against Real Madrid, then you can kind of say, cool, it is what it is. So I think context becomes a major factor in whether, I think Arteta should remain or not. If it ends up being a situation where, we go on a mad run in the Premier League and we lose, 5 or 6 of our next 14 games, end up finishing 15 points behind City and Liverpool, just a scenario like that, then I think you have to look at potentially moving him on. Definitely, and we go out early stages. Let's say we go out to Porto in the Champions League, then you have to move him on. Simple as that, because, next season would be the season we'd expect to win something. It's phase 5 of the project, right? We all know we need a striker, but at some point you got to question, is the manager good enough? Is the manager the guy who's going to take you over the line? And that's the big question mark. You can have all these world-class players, you can have all these great players, but sometimes it comes down to the manager. Like in tight fixtures, for example, when you're playing against big teams, there's not much between you. A lot of the time it comes down to the manager and what he decides to do tactically, what he decides to do in terms of his in-game management. And they're two of the big question marks that I have over Mikel Arteta even still. Sometimes his in-game management isn't that great. Sometimes he ends up costing us points more often than what he does winning us points. Since we went to Dubai and since we've come back from Dubai, his in-game management's been a lot better. His tactics have been a lot better. But you want to see that for the rest of the season. So I think that's a tough question to ask, to be honest with you. If we don't win a trophy, I'm going to be very, very disappointed, because at the beginning of the season, I said that I wanted Arsenal to challenge for the league again this season and win a trophy, even if it was an FA Cup or a League Cup. But if we take context into it and say, look, Arsenal have gone to the last game of the season, we've lost the league on goal difference, and we've lost the Champions League final against Real Madrid or Man City, for example, then you kind of have to say, okay, cool, let's go and get that striker in the summer. Let's give him another go. And this time, this is going to be the season that defines Mikel Arteta. Will he win a trophy or not? And give him one more year.
Interesting, man. I'm going to go in a different order. I'm going to let Igal have the last word on this one. Kenny, let's come to you next, actually. What are you saying about this season, bruv?
You mean what I expect this season?
Same question. If you don't win a trophy, what happens?
Well, the debate is going to rage on, and it's going to be the same sort of situation. You're going to acknowledge the fact that we've got a very good team. You're going to acknowledge the fact that players have improved, and he has got us into those situations. But you are going to have to look at it and say, well, you know what? I'm afraid he's left some good foundations for another man who can now take us to the next level. And there are coaches out there. And unfortunately, football is like that. You know, you can't always be unlucky, and being unlucky won't keep you in the job. You know, demands are very, very high this season from our fans, and they're going to be very high. And if we don't win anything this season, that's the theme. You speak to anyone who, you know, who is for Mikel, who's not for Mikel, they all want the same things. They want Arsenal this season to finally deliver the Champions. Sorry, not the Champions League. We'll take that, obviously, but they want Arsenal to deliver the title. They were all disappointed and frustrated that we lost against Liverpool in the FA Cup. They were very frustrated that we lost against West Ham, and that's how you wanted to do. But if he doesn't win anything this season, Brandon's right. It depends what happens. If it's a situation where, you know, we drop a few points in the next few games, and you know we finish 10 points beyond Man City, then you have to ask. You have to have that discussion. You have to think, you know what, he's taking his squad as far as he can go. If we lose to Porto in the last 16, yes, you have to, because you know he's giving everything. He's been given all the support financially, all the backing from the fans, and all the backing from the board. And yet we've got nothing to show it. It's a fourth year without winning anything. You have to look at that situation, and it's fair. It's a fair decision. If you know, if he is replaced by someone else, can take us to the next level. I don't think he'll even have arguments, because at the end of the day, we're the third biggest club in the country. We're not that club that is, you know, that's in transition and through the process. The fact that we challenged for the title last season, albeit falling away, and we're doing it this season, shows that all this process and you know, it's over, because that was the final frontier, challenging for titles. The process is over now. It's about getting over the line now. So if you can't get over the line now, there has to be discussions, and but it's how you do it. If we lose on penalties against Man City in the final, and we finish on goal difference, it'd be harsh if he does lose his job, because you know he's done everything he can. But I know owners who would sack him for that. Just saying, not saying I feel that way, but that's the name of the game. You know, we're in what people call big boy football, mate. We're in the ruthless, the dog eat dog.
Interesting, man. Let me come to Northside first. Big up to Gunnar Russ in the chat. So at the end of the day, if Arsenal win big, is job safe? If not, it's up for debate. Northside, you've always kind of said that to me, man. It's either win or he goes. Are you still there, bruv?
Yeah, I got to disagree with Brandon on this one. I don't think there is any context need to be given. This guy hasn't come into a team that he's still building like Ange. When this manager got his job, it was give him time, let him build his squad. He's built his squad. A lot of Arsenal fans that were backing this manager said it took Klopp 4 years. So they referenced Klopp. And within 4 years, Klopp, with a very similar run club, self-sustaining model, he won the Champions League and the Premier League, spending just over 500 million. This manager's on to 640 now. You know, and we still haven't won a major honor. It's still up in the air if we're going to win one this season. For me, that's not good enough. This manager chose to go and get Marquinhos. This manager is the one that chose to get rid of Aubameyang, our only proper goal scorer that can score 20 goals a season, and not to replace him. This manager chose to get rid of Balogun and keep Nketiah, not buy another striker. This manager chose to spend the money for a striker on Kai Havertz. This manager chose to get rid of Xhaka. This manager chose to go get Kivio. This manager chose to go get Lokonga, Fabi Vieira, instead of investing the money on proper ballers like Maddison and players like that. That could, whether you start him or not over Odegaard, is a much better rotation on someone that can actually fight for that spot with Odegaard instead of just being a bench warmer. This manager is the one that decided to keep El Nene and re-sign him to a new contract. This manager is the one that decided to get Jorginho, keep Cedric. He is the one that made all these decisions. So on that basis, he should be sacked, because they can't say he didn't get given time, nor the backing in the players that he wanted, whether it's players re-signing, players that he wanted, or getting the players that he wants. Even the goalkeeping situation. This manager went and spent money on Trusty, Runnison, Turner, all these players. If it doesn't come to fruition of winning me a major honor, context is out of the window. You've been given time and support. And in football, when you're given time and money, and you don't perform, you're sacked. Just like Ole, just like Lampard, just how probably Ten Hag will eventually get sacked, just like Tuchel. That's how it is. If you're giving backing and money and time and you can't get us over the line, well, tough luck, because we need to go get a manager that can. And I believe that when people said, a lot of people say, but why are you going to get rid of the manager? You're going to go back to, mediocrity. No, you're not. The next manager that comes in is taking over a team that can compete. Now he just needs to get him over the line. No, he just needs to get him over the line. The one good thing I can give to this ownership is we re-signed our best assets, our best players are still signed to the club with decent amount of time on their contracts. So all these players won't be leaving straight away because they're under contract. So the next manager now needs to get the missing pieces. But at the end of the day, if this manager doesn't win the league this season, why didn't you go and get a proper striker? Why have we not got the options we need on the bench? Why have we not got the midfield that we need to compete? The same way we've got Trossard competing against Martinelli, Rice competing against Partey. So at the end of the day, there is no excuse. He has to deliver this season. Yeah. And most top gooners were all saying at the start of the season, we're going to win a major honor, either Champions League or Premier League. So by that metric and by that, and by them saying that and predict those predictions at the start of the season, if he doesn't win that, then he's underachieved by their own metric because they deemed it good enough to win the league. I feel like he's had enough time. And it's time to get the man in that's going to get us over the line if this guy fails, because I can't see as to what angle that Mikel Arteta has been unjustly treated here at this football club. They backed him when he finished 8th in 2 seasons and let him build this whole squad. So if you don't deliver now, sorry, no, you got to go. For me, Arteta out. If he doesn't win me a major honor this season, I want that Filo da Puta sacked.
Can I just throw another scenario in there as well? I think it very much depends who wins the league. If Man City wins the league, I think we can all hold our hands up and say they were the favourites at the beginning of the season. We expect them to go and win the league. And that's that. I think if Liverpool were to win the league ahead of us, though, I think, again, we'd have to ask questions of Mikel Arteta, because this is a Liverpool side that have basically revamped an entire midfield. Yes, they have players within their squad that have been there, done it and seen it, but they were nowhere last season. And now all of a sudden they're beating us to a league title.
Brendan, mark my word, Liverpool will fall off before the end of the season and it will be a 2-horse race between Arsenal and City. Mark my word.
Big statement. Big statement.
Reason being, they just don't have the level of consistency defensively as us. Right now, they are one center back injury away from having to play academy kids. They don't have a midfield. Their midfield is decimated with injuries at this moment in time. Their key players have been their attack. Their attack has been holding them together.
We're one centre back injury away from playing Kivior, mate.
Bro, so Kivior is 10 times better whatever they have to play. Don't even try that. Don't even try that. Okay? You guys can't even name their backup center back. Can you name it?
Do you know what they do have, that we don't have?
They've got
players that have got experience of getting over the line. They've got a manager that actually achieves something.
Look at our performances versus big teams compared to Liverpool and City. This is why I have faith, because this might actually suit us. Coming in from behind might actually suit us. The pressure is not on us. We just need to do our job, consistently do our job. I would rather be the person who has expectations, but dreams big and gets hurt, than be the guy who's sitting there saying, "Oh, I have no expectations," protecting myself from pain, and then later on saying, "Oh, the manager has to be sacked." I think that's ridiculous. The manager, not only does Mikel Arteta not deserve to be sacked, if we don't win the league this year, we're going to be even in a better situation next year, because we're going to have the striker. There's going to be no Klopp. There's going to be no Liverpool. There's going to be a City team that's maybe one year older. And this Arsenal team, as much as you guys don't want to hear it, it's still a very young core that's just getting better. So overall, I don't think this manager is going anywhere. I think even if we don't get over the line, which a lot of you guys on this panel have said we're not going to get over the line, and are going to rant and rave about it after we don't do, even though you predicted it, I'm not going to go and throw the baby out of the bathwater, because I believe the window of opportunity for this team is still very much open. And this manager, as you guys have said, is a couple pieces away from having a complete team. So why would you then destroy the whole trajectory of this project and go for the unknown.
Hey, Gal, let me just ask you this quickly then. Let me just ask quickly before I bring Jez in lastly, right? Let me just ask this quickly. I don't feel like sacking Mikel Arteta. This isn't going to happen, by the way. I think he's here, whatever, right? Yeah. But let's just say we did sack him and we brought somebody else in. I don't think we start again because the players aren't all going to leave. They're going to go, right, where are we at? And we've still got a foundation of a good team. And you add a couple of pieces to it with another manager. I don't care who it is. I don't want to start going on names. And then you go and try and win again. Because I think some people think, if Arteta leaves, the club's finished. We've got to start all again.
No. He's a big part of the club. He's a big part of the club. He's the one he's part of the recruitment for the summer already. He's verbally already spoke to the Real Sociedad guy, Zubamendi. He's already doing recruitment for the summer. You're telling me the person who's doing recruitment for the summer doesn't have guarantees, doesn't have a new contract potentially coming on.
He's staying. I've just said he's staying. I'm saying he's staying. But for me, what I don't agree with is if Arteta goes, the club goes.
No. This is what goes. If Arteta goes, the direction that he had this team going in is going to slightly change. You're going to have a new manager. And if that manager is a win-now manager, he might not be willing to work with some of the players. We might need to bin off some of the players that Mikel Arteta has recently brought in, and we might start playing a different type of way. So, and the person who's going to be hiring the manager, is it going to be friggin' Vinay's not here, Raul Sanelli's not here? Who's actually in charge of Arsenal? In my opinion, the people in charge of Arsenal are Arteta, Edu, Per Mertesacker. Those are the three people who are running the football club. The academy is run by Per Mertesacker. The recruitment is run by Edu and Arteta. And everything goes under them. Josh Kroenke just oversees it. He doesn't have an actual input, too much input in the club. The board of directors, everybody, they're just there. They're figures. They don't actually call the shots. Who calls the shots? It's Arteta and Edu. Who put this team together? Arteta and Edu. Who raised the standards of the club back to where we're supposed to be? Arteta, Edu.
They're safe in your eyes, whatever happens then, Egal.
Bro, the reality is they have to start delivering, but they don't have the complete team yet. You guys have all been complaining about the striker.
5 years. Five years, and he hasn't.
Guess what? The reality of the situation is it could take us another 7 years to win a league. On top of this, if we sack the manager and we start bidding off players, there's no guarantee your way is going to work. So why break something if it's not broken?
Man,
Jez, I'll let you come in, man, Jez. But let me just throw this comment in very quickly, Jez, before you go. This is what I don't get with some people, right? Jules, Potts is wrong. These players are used to a system. There's no telling what a new manager could bring to this team. Exactly. You could look at that both ways. A new manager could come in and it could go tits up. A new manager can come in and you go, bloody hell, he's the guy who's got us over. Arteta's done great to build this team, but look at this guy, he's taken us across the line. You don't know that. We can't predict the future. So never be scared of change, man. Never be scared of change, because otherwise you end up 20 years without a Premier League title and 30 years without a European trophy. Go on now, Jez.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I just want to, as a comment that came in, good, it's an interesting comment. It's a while back. Stu MC, Invincibles themselves with bargains. Lauren, Colo Torre, Campbell, I know contract. Gilberto Perez Lundberg, Syria A rejects like Omri, Bergkamp and Vieira. Why do Arsenal fans clamour for money throwing? Well, let's get it right. At that point in time, when we had those players, we had an elite manager. We had a manager who had a winning mentality. That is the fact. He had technical awareness. Now, let's get back to this, right? The question you asked me, Dan, you've asked the other guys as well, right? If he doesn't win anything this year, if we're kicked out of the Champions League and we're done, dusted, and we don't win the Premier League, sack him. He's had his time, he's had his chance, and it's now time to turn around and say, thank you very much. You've had all this money, you've done well to a point, but you haven't won us anything. If we end up second, third this season, right, it's failure. That's it. There's no debate about it, right? Arsenal are an elite football club, right? We're in it to win it. And if this manager, and Egal, you said Edu, absolute clown, useless, right? He has no experience in negotiating contracts because fact, you like your facts, right? He worked for the Brazilian FA with the Brazilian international team. So he didn't have to negotiate contracts. He didn't have to buy players. All he had to do was say, yeah, my scout said, this guy, let's give him a trial for the Brazilian international team. Look at the crap deals he's done. Buying a player, and we give the club 3 million to keep good relations. What's that about? What is that about? If you can get a player for nothing, get him for nothing. Why give the club 3 million? No, that is not on. Sorry, don't agree with that comment at all. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. You love Arteta. God knows why. I didn't want him ever as a player at this football club. He was not the levels we needed, and he should never have come to us. It was a panic buy. 10-11. Do you remember the night? Do you remember it? I remember watching it when Arteta bought him in. 10-11 from Everton. I thought, what the hell are we doing buying this clown? He was crap at Everton. Well, he wasn't crap, but he was not great. And we brought him in, right? Levels. Yeah, fantastic. Great buy. Fantastic. No, sorry. If you don't win anything this season, go. I've had enough of it. It'll be 5 years, man. 5 years. Let's put the cards on the table here, mate. Right? Let's talk about some facts. You like your facts, right?
Can I give you one fact though? Richard Garlick deals with the contract negotiation.
I ain't finished yet. Right? At the end of the day, we had a manager, Terry Neal. Do you remember him? Remember Terry Neal?
Did he?
I remember Terry Neal.
In between? Was he in between?
In the early 80s.
I remember Terry Neal. I started with Terry Neal as an Arsenal fan.
Do you remember him, mate? Yeah.
No, I wasn't born, mate. Well,
there we go. He got us a 3 cup finals, 1-1, right? Ex-Arsenal player, right? He was an ex-Arsenal player. He cocked it all up. I was part of the crew that went up to Islington Town Hall to get him out. When I lived in North London, in Islington, right opposite Highbury Stadium, I went up there to get him out of the club because we were going nowhere. We were in the doldrums. We were in the mess, and we had to get him out. Yeah? And we got another manager in. And then we had the iconic manager in George Graham, who took us to greatness. Look at the facts of what George Graham achieved in his first 4 years compared to this clown. And you're sitting there saying, oh, well, if we don't win nothing, keep him for another year. Are you mad? Are you happy to sit here and see this guy get another £200 million and get us nowhere? No, no, no. He has to go. If he fails this season, he has to go. I don't want to sit here and continually see our team fail. This is the longest time in my lifetime, right? I've supported this team since 67. 20 sodding years. 20 years of not winning a title. We're crap in Europe. We've always been crap in Europe. I'm fortunate I've seen 2 European trophies. Yeah, that is not good for the club. That is not good. So, sorry, Egal. I respect sometimes what you say. Unfortunately, mate, you talk a lot of bullshit sometimes because at the end of the day, you would accept this. You'll go along with the get-along clowns and you'll just sit there and think, well, it's all right. Oh, we'll go another year. No, we'll give Edu and him another 200 million. No. He hasn't achieved anything. We're out the FA Cup every bleeding season. We're out the Carrier Bag Cup every single season, right? Something that we should be actually trying to win. We haven't won many of them. Won 14 FA Cups, right? But at the end of the day, no. Sorry, fella. People like you really wind me up because you will accept mediocrity. You accept failure. Failure. You accept failure. And I can never...
You expect us to fail. I expect us to win.
I expect us to win. I expect us to win.
No, you expect us to lose the league to Man City. I expect us to win the league. Who's accepting failure there?
You accept failure.
Jez, you were having an argument with me 2 minutes ago telling me we're going to lose the league, and I was telling you why we're going to win the league. Who's expecting failure? You're expecting to lose so you don't hurt your feelings. I'm expecting us to win because I'm willing to risk it all. The reality of the situation is, yes, I don't know everything. 1 second. I don't know. One second. I don't know everything about the club as much as you do, but one thing I will tell you.
How long will you accept failure?
Bro, you just said we're missing a striker. You said we're missing pieces. I'm willing to give him this summer. I'm willing to give him this summer going into next year. But before we even get there, I expect him to do the job this year. Before we even get to next year. If he doesn't do the job this year, it's because he still doesn't have the pieces.
He's had it all. He's had.
Bro, you have mentioned it yourself. We don't have a striker.
His fault. He didn't buy one.
Guess what? It's not always your fault. You still have parameters. Even though you can run the recruitment, there's people above you telling you can't spend this much money or else we'll get into financial fair play issues. Do we understand how football finances work nowadays in football? You can't just sign everybody you want. Unfortunately, you can't. Okay. Also, when you said Edu's contract,
£65 million on one player, right?
Bro,
who has not yet hit
nobody knows why he signed Kai Havertz, but he himself said it will take 55 games for everyone to understand what Kai Havertz's true role in this team is. That's ridiculous. But he said that. Listen,
55 games,
bro. I'm gonna just tell you what the manager said. I'm not gonna try to make logic of it. The reality of the situation is nobody understands why he signed Kai Havertz, but he hasn't been as bad as everyone's making it out to seem. Second of all, when you said Edu does the contract negotiation, that's not categorically correct at all. Richard Garlick does the contract negotiation.
How do you
Richard
know that?
Garlick is the person in charge of getting the negotiations and the deals over the line.
How do you know that?
That is literally in his job specs. That when you speak about his role, he's head of football operations. His job entails negotiating contracts, outgoing, incoming contracts.
Igal, you just said about parameters, yeah? You spoke about parameters and spending money. If you add up what we spent on the goalkeeper, which we're eventually going to pay, and what we've paid for Kai Havertz, he could have got a striker for that amount of money.
Guess
yeah.
what?
So in terms of the parameters, hold on a sec. In terms of parameters of money spent, he could have spent it on another player. Then you're talking about, but look at the scouting and look at the recruitment that we've done, and it's excellent and stuff like that. You've just said that the manager needs 55 games of Kai Havertz, a player to push us over the line to win the league. Yeah, when this guy has never proven himself to be consistent in the Premier League. Then you have to also look at certain signings that ain't worked out. Why is Nuntavage on loan? Because he cost us money. Why is Fabi Vieira not good enough? Because he cost us money. Why is Lokonga not good enough? Because he cost us money. Why is Marquinhos out on loan? Because he cost us money. So there's loads of signings that he also has made that ain't been good enough. So at the same time, Miguel, as much as you can give him praise for certain signings and say, oh, well, look at what they're building, we've got a whole bench that basically is in the same position as he inherited it. A bench that's ineffective. Just like when he inherited this squad. A bench that's ineffective, we still have that 4 years on. So that's a question that you have to put to this manager as well. Because you're talking about the recruitment and how great it is, and maybe we shouldn't change it. But not all of their signings have been great. And yes, not every signing will be great. But there's a lot of players I can run off. Trusty, we paid money for. Wasn't good enough. Turner wasn't good enough. Runnison wasn't good enough. This is all under Mikel Arteta. So he's had enough money spent on players he's either loaned out, can't get into the team, or not good enough. Does he not get criticism for that? Because that's under Edu and Arteta.
Guess what? Runnison, I give you that. Ramsdale, good signing. Matt Turner, we made a profit. Raya so far, jury's still out. Pablo Mari, Cedric, they were a flop. But guess what? Gabriel Magalhaes, Ben White, Tomiyasu, good signings. Leandro, I'll give you Trusty. I'll give you Tavares. They weren't good signings, but guess what? We might make a profit on both of them. Zinchenko, he's been good for us last season. This season hasn't been as good. Kavior, jury still's out on him. Timber, he got injured. Partey, amazing signing. Odegaard, amazing signing. Lokonga, flop. Fabio Vieira, jury still out on him. Jorginho, good signing. He's done well for us this season. Last season, unfortunately, he wasn't doing as good for us. Declan Rice, amazing signing. One of the signings he's ever made. Jury still out on Kai Havertz. And then the last four signings are the attackers. Willian's been a flop. Jesus been good. Marquinhos was a flop. And Trossard, he's been a great signing. So when you really think about it, he's not been that bad, has he?
No, but that's about 6 or 7 players that are not good enough, including the players that he's re-signed.
How many players did I name that were amazing?
No, because you're defending him as if all his signings are amazing. Look what he's building. My point to you is this. He inherited a bench that ain't good enough. 4 years on, that bench is still the reason why we bottled it last season and has not been addressed to this season. And when you take out our starting lineup, even Dan asked me earlier on, when you're looking at the subs, if the starting lineup doesn't get us over the line, are you impressed by the bench? And I said no. Most of us would be saying no. When you're looking at the injuries, Thomas Partey can't get back into the team because he keeps getting injured. Would you be happy with El Nene? No. Would you be happy with Fabi Vieira taking over if we get certain injuries to the starting lineup? No. Would you be happy with Lokonga? Would you be happy with Nuntavaj?
Guess what?
Would you be happy with Marquinhos as an option? Even Reece Nelson.
I trust the manager.
Hold on.
Be happy with his decision.
Because you're only looking at the signings that worked, which I agree with you, but there's a lot of signings that haven't worked. And this is why.
No, but you're only handpicking a few. And I'm willing to agree with you on the ones that haven't worked, but you're not willing to listen to me on what I'm saying.
I'm saying Mikel
Arteta and the team have done a great job. You guys wanted the standards raised. Guess what? They've done that. Now
I wanted to win the league.
Guess what? You're not going to win the league without these baby steps.
Baby steps. So why didn't Top Gooners tell me that when they said it took Klopp 4 years?
Bro, I don't speak for everybody. I speak for myself.
Okay, cool. But when you say that me and Jez and you guys are expecting us to bottle the league, no, I don't expect much from somebody.
Bro, I was expecting 100 points this season. I'm clearly wrong already.
You know what I expected? I expected to get a striker. I expected this bench to be solved by now. I expected us to actually get a proper striker and replace Aubameyang. I expected us to actually hire a manager that's actually a proper proven manager. Not somebody.
At this point, Arteta is one of the most sought after managers in world football. If he was to leave today at Arsenal Football Club, he's landing at PSG or Barcelona and winning them everything.
So what? So
you guys, ungrateful people at this moment in time. Because this manager who's gotten us from absolute mud and raised the standards, want to get rid of him. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
No. It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous.
Because one day you're saying, put your hands up. He's great. We won 6-0. We're talking about sacking him. What's wrong with us?